Fated is bad.
Is Fated bad?
Is Fated bad?
3 question marks. Just to show you, we're not sure. And neither is anyone else. Because no one has any idea what's going on. They're just so bored they're complaining about Fated already.
That's it. And of course, this is all Holly's fault.
Of course.
Directly, we'll of course be expecting a full statement and apology.
Yeah, so Flex, shitposter in chief, if it starts with F, so it is by definition F tier. They should drop that F and just call it ated, and then it's A tier. No, sated, but then that's the bloodlust debuff.
Well, sated just like the community. I think that would be just fantastic.
Sated with 3 S's, triple S tier, spoken sexy, stylish, ated. Fantastic.
So,
yeah.
Fated, what is it going to be? Well, number one, not Fated. Pretty sure in the roadmap, of course, we do love a roadmap. In the roadmap, they said that it's going to be Dragonflight raids revisited.
DRR.
And there are people who have a significantly better idea than Dragonflight raids revisited that I think we will, in fact, visit pretty soon. Anyway, the idea is probably going to be some form of twist on the Dragonflight raids. The way that this worked last time round was you'd have the pleasure of going to Castle Nathria one week, and then the next week you could spice up your life with a quick trip to the Sanctum of Domination and then finish yourself off in the Sepulchre of the First Ones. All so that you could then repeat the process, and if you kept on doing that, then some fella would give you dinars, and then you could trade your dinars in for weapons and trinkets. The dinars made the community very happy, and that is why they haven't been done again, because Ian and Holly hate you.
They hate determinism.
That's it.
They're all for that.
That's why they made the Shadowlands.
Mm-hmm. They're all for that RNG. You roll the dice and, look at that. That's where you are. Whoops, sorry about that. Bad move. They're not into those things.
No, so really, we don't quite know yet, but we just assume it's going to be raids where they'll probably have one of them be operating at that higher, level of difficulty every week. It'll likely rotate, and you'll be getting some form of, affix. We'll talk about those later too.
So that's this is all likely, but that's what Fated was.
Yes,
we have no
idea,
which I think is fun because everyone's operating under the assumption that it's going to be something like that, and I think that is clearly fair, right? Because you've got you've got one data point, so it's pretty reasonable to suggest the second data point's probably somewhere nearby. But if you know how you look at data, not really. It could be anything, especially when you look at what, I'm not trying to sell it here, but Dragonflight's been kind of a load of curveballs repeatedly. You're like, oh yeah, here's the crest and Flightstone upgrade system. You're like, where'd that come from? Out of nowhere. Sweet, nice. Oh, there's a support spec. Where did that come from? Let's not talk about how well that went.
Developers, Matt. It came from developers.
Yeah, it came from developers. So people here talking about what it should be and versus what it is. And
right.
Fate would be so much more enjoyable if we had Nighthold the Throne of Thunder as a soul raid to play during S4.
And the truth is that Jack is right. That might have been a strong opener.
Yes, but we've already had those raids, and they can't just say you're only doing Throne of Thunder this season.
What about dungeons?
They can't do that. What about dungeons?
No, they've been rolling old mythics.
Yeah, but they've been cycling them.
True.
He says it's the soul raid.
So
he wants, and this is the thing for Mythic raiders, they want one raid to progress. Based on what I've seen from all of this talk, they don't want fated, rolly, every weeky, differenty, stuffy. They don't want any of that. They just want to actually just go and prog the raid properly, which is interesting because that's the Mythic raider perspective, where prog takes a lot longer.
Now, shall we talk about what might be more fun for more people?
What? More people?
If you
there are other people who play this game except Mythic raiders and M+ pushers who tweet on Twitter?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I wonder, needs to tell us.
What if you gave that some sort of, some sort of rotation or something like that? What if you sort of had season 4? Yes, it's all the raids, but it's like doing a reverse course in a racing game. It's all the raids, but they're upside down and you're playing on the roof.
Honestly, give me
amazing.
Give me Vault of the Incarnates mirrored. Absolutely, 100%. 100%. Oh, they could call it Dragonflight Season 4 Master Quest. Yes.
So if it was such that, all right, so imagine season 4 was actually designed to be a thing that happens in the game after the expansion sort of story is finished. Now, I know people are saying, Mike, why do you have to bring this back to story? It's framing, not story, to be clear. But your sort of idea there is, okay, fantastic. We have defeated Farak. Woohoo! Fantastic. We've defeated...
For now. Cackling
yes.
Fireland sounds.
He's definitely not the new Fire Lord. Yeah, I don't know. You could maybe have some sort of, maybe it involves the Bronze Flight, but basically, maybe take a little bit of an inspiration from the Trial of the Crusader, and maybe just have it be a little training arc that happens after the expansion, where in spite of all the moral arguments about why a civilization wouldn't do like a full resolution ancestor simulation, because they just be simulating all of the horror and, bad feelings. So let's just say, Bronze, yes, technically we're reviving a bunch of raids so we can kill everybody again and give them a horrible time. But essentially what I'm saying is...
Have you been playing Assassin's Creed?
Oh my God.
The Animus in World of Warcraft.
There you go. Plug your character into the box and do an old raid. But and yes, there's like some similarities there to the sort of time walking raids, but in most cases the time walking raids are pretty damn old. So looking at, as people are pointing out there, like really anything WoD onward, I think works, right? Because like WoD is the current raid system. With the sizes, Mythic, and all of that. Any raid post WoD works. I kind of doubt that if people said, "Hey guys, season 4, Highmall." I actually thought Highmall was pretty cool, but maybe do some sort of little rotation there, theme it decently well, make a little area or event with maybe some additional, vendors with different rewards and things, and actually have a proper go at it. Make season 4 feel different and feel like it is properly a sort of R&R training arc for like 3 months before the next expansion starts. I think that would be cool, but it would also be effort.
Cope-harder, Michael.
Cope-harder.
It's affixes on the existing raids.
Yes.
You know it.
Yes. Oh yeah. But the heading, Matt, is called What Fate It Should Be.
Yes. And also, I don't expect it to just be affixes on raids and dinners again. I expect them to do something. But there's clearly a bunch of very obvious potential, which is not no effort, but substantially less effort than anything before. And that's a good point, Ferlin. What is time running Pandemonium exactly? And how does it fit into all of this?
Oh. Completely forgot about that.
Yeah, so did I until
time running Pandemonium is in 10.2.7. Darkheart. Woo.
Darkheart Thicket.
Whole patch. Darkheart Thicket. It's going to be amazing. The
shadow of
I can't make that joke work. Anyway,
good attempt.
Season 4 is before that, because whenever 10.2.6 Pirate Flag drops, that's also when the PTR for Season 4 will begin, because 10.2.6 is going to include all of the data for Season 4. So basically, as soon as 10.2.6 drops, we're doing whatever its event is, but then we're also doing the
preparing for
PTR for Season 4. So we are about to find out what Season 4 is. Maybe it's only going to be a week. It could be a few days, and then we'll know. So that's fairly interesting in and of itself. The thing, though, is it happens before Time Running Pandemonium, which tells me that Time Running Pandemonium is a separate thing.
Well, yes. Of course.
So
which means
thematically it probably won't be tied into...
Yeah, which means this fated thing is probably going to be... or this Dragonflight Raids Revisited is probably going to be... Dragonflight Raids Revisited. Time Running Pandemonium is probably going to be something to do with Pandaria and time. We really do go a long way to our destination.
But not challenge modes.
Right where we started. Yeah, not that.
but not challenge modes. And there was the time running gear that was data mined that almost looked like it was some sort of, I don't know, like a Vampire Survivors mode inspired gear, where I think there were some boots, and if you put the boots on, you'd get +1 uses of roll. It seemed to be class agnostic. So that is, that's certainly a big thing. As for what they should probably do for these season 4s going forward, people have talked about alternative timeline stuff. Gauntlet, a fan favorite, raid bosses. Oh god, you can make that really punishing. One or two boss mini raid, so pull a Hallion. It didn't seem that Hallion worked. At least, not to say I've got the crispest memory of what I was doing and what people were saying in 2010, but I don't think Ruby Sanctum was seen as the ultimate victory.
No, I think Ruby Sanctum was...
But with the way the current game is, certainly wouldn't be against it.
Yeah. It's kind of awkward. It's a struggle to see where a one boss raid would fit in any capacity. Because they're clearly not willing to just be like, here's content that, whatever. They clearly wanted to like fit as part of the actual, like the progression path. Because at the end of the day, they still are building an RPG which has progression. And one boss raids, like, I know based on like Ian saying ages ago, it's like they've never really been worth it in any real capacity. Because if they were worth it, they would do it again. And there's a little bit of a, we want them. And then Ian's like, no, you fucking don't. You don't do them. Go away. Go away with your lies. Your like self-deceit. Because obviously that's the thing. That's obviously the difference between, what people say they want and what they actually do want. Not to be J. Allen Brack about it, but there is clearly like a case of they would have to rethink how they do them and how it fits into the progression plans if they want to do them again, which I think is a little bit difficult. But I will say, I've got a really insane idea for what Fated should be.
Good.
Just another season of actual content, please.
So is it time for us to talk about how we have been beaten, robbed, and just stripped for parts
We have been
by the evil capitalist forces of California, Irvine. Wait, Irvine, California.
Also, nothing with what you said was wrong. That's all completely true.
Oh yeah, that's happening anyway.
Even if you deliver it in a satirical tone, it's just true.
So how Matt are we being screwed? Absolutely, just fucking bollock silly by the developers at World of Warcraft as they rob us blind. So people have been talking about the idea that, hang on a second, you used to get 4 raids in an expansion pack and now you're getting 3.
Shrinkflation gone mad.
Yes, that's happening, isn't it? That is the plan going forward. So from what I understand, we are getting 18-month expansions with 3 raid tiers, a something, and that's essentially what's going to be going on. And that plan will probably end in halfway through 2029, whenever we kill a Ridicron, and finally go into Zareth, the Zareth of the Zareths, and get to find out what's going on with the oldest first ones, or whatever the hell, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe that's when Chris Metzen leaves and Denuzer comes back to steward the series forward.
That would be a plot twist I do not expect.
That would be a plot twist I also would not expect.
Thankfully, when that happens, I'll be close to 40 and I'll just be like, I don't care anymore. I'm out. Goodbye.
That's it. Won't matter. I'll be deed.
Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I just shot me. I just mind bulleted myself.
Yep.
Oh dear. Dear.
So it's an interesting thing. I think, is it very factually true? Yes, it is. So to look at some prior expansions in Legion, we had the Emerald Nightmare into the Nighthold, into Doom of Sargeras and on Taurus, which is 4 raids, and this finger doesn't really move as much as those 3, which sort of ruins the whole. There we go.
Really?
Thank you. Yes.
Also, who does 4 like that?
Yes, it would have been better if I.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no. See, it does make sense like this, because you see, Emerald Nightmare was pretty small.
Oh,
it was.
It was just quick. It wasn't small.
See, that was back in this time when they were sort of trying to make it be like the little introduction raid. And then the next full raid would be, the Nighthold. But basically, there was 4 raids there. Then our next expansion after that had 4 raids: Uldir, Dazara Lore, technically 5. Uldir, Dazara Lore, the funky Crucible. What's it called? The little
Crucible of Storms.
The 2 boss where you fight
Crucible of Storms.
The Crucible. Yeah, there you go. Into Feckin, Eternal Palace, and Nyalotha. Then we had the Shadowlands, which had 3 raids. Now we've had Dragonflight, which also had 3 raids. So if you were a big jabroni like us, who was sort of speculating about what would the time raid be like? Because you know the way the 4th and final raid tier of the Dragonflight expansion, Matt, was going to, see the ultimate showdown against Morozond and all of these things, and then that didn't happen. Because it turned out it's a 3... I mean, thinking about Dragonflight, you're like, where did Tyr go? What did he really do? Nothing. What about all that bronze stuff? Because the bronze stuff, I think that...
How many raids did BFA have?
5. It's really 4 point.
Man, and they still planned and didn't go through with the Drust. Sad. Sad.
So it is true that there are materially less raids. Now, to sort of reframe a little bit, when we look at Mythic Plus, we do see it's doing quite a bit better, which we'll be talking about shortly. I think just the idea of, hey, you're not doing the same dungeon for 2 years, that probably helps. So, yes, things have been a bit better with Mythic Plus. I think in terms of other bits of content, that's where we get to have an interesting discussion, because there are the 0.5s, the 0.7s. Question is, how much do you value them? So I think for some people, Forbidden Reach and... for some people, those are fairly reasonable, valuable patches, and there's story content and stuff like that coming out, even though it's often quite tiny. I think certainly 10-5, underwhelming.
3 raids, scamazed.
Scamazed?
Scamazed.
Oh, scammed.
Yes, scamazed, yes.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think for the average WoW player, it's a way healthier position now.
For sure.
Than it was in the past. The one thing where I think, yes, we are objectively losing out is the quantity of raids. That is an objective loss. There's no way you can cut it. It is an objective loss, and is a fated season that's a rerun of the prior 3. That is not, I think, an ideal replacement. That's where I'd rather see, like, say what Jack said. Going back to Nighthold or on Taurus or, raids like that. Where, is that new content? No, it's not. But is that, like, still top tier, very well regarded, well designed, very fun content that people haven't done in a very long time? And it's like proper, level of difficulty and all of that. So, I think there is, there's a strong argument for doing more than just a rerun of the places that we've been to in the past. Blizzard's hope perhaps would be that whatever they do with the affixes would kind of spice it up enough. Because it's that sort of thing. If you've just done these 3 raids, they'll be fresh in your mind. So if an affix is enough to really change it up, then maybe you'll actually see and feel the value in that affix. I think just for a lot of people, though, if there's just something that you apply across a bunch of raids, I struggle to see how people would really see the kind of unique sort of bespoke feeling value in that.
Yeah, well, this is where we have to have a pretty difficult conversation.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is, we're saying here, we're kind of framing it in our heads as, well, we're getting one less patch. We're getting one less raid. And if World of Warcraft was a game in which it was all framed around the raids, then I would completely understand that as, we're losing one tier. We lost a raid tier for garrisons, and that felt horrible, and that was the whole thing. But as we'll maybe get into a little bit, how much is World of Warcraft still a raiding game?
Well, that's something to talk about.
Because you look at all of the data from guilds doing, because we don't have access to that much data, but you look at the amount of guilds that clear raids. It's not looking good. It's not looking bad, but
yes,
it's way down from like even the recent past. It's way down from Legion, right?
It is, yeah.
And then you look at then what is it? a dungeon game.
It's a dungeon game.
Bingo. Because the amount of people doing M Plus is way, way, way up from Legion. So ridiculously so. That's one of the segments we have planned. We'll go through Night Stalkers, a little bit of Night Stalker stuff, and like the data he's compiled from Raid.io runs and talk about what some of it means. Lots of pugs. So yeah, that's the difficult part. We kind of have to. Same with like your Raider.io stuff. That's not a complete picture, but we have to talk about the parts of the picture we see. Otherwise, we don't talk about anything and we don't know anything. And we just go, well, we don't have the full picture, so there's no point analyzing whatsoever. Where we do have to kind of analyze a little bit of what we actually like see here and there. It's just, oh yeah, okay. Okay, well, raid guilds down. So maybe World of Warcraft is moving away from being a raiding game. And that's why we see 10.2.7 being a patch that's, you know, a kind of reasonably big seeming patch in terms of how they're marketing it and how they're putting it across. Now, to be fair, they did give the full effort to 10.2.5. And everyone's like, eh? And everyone in the same with 10.1.5. And everyone's like, it's not really. So there is a case of the minor patches don't feel huge. But would they have turned around and called 10.2.7, 10.3 and went, there's no raid in this one? That would have been chaotic. But is it kind of the point? Is it kind of the goal to go, well, would actually rather we find more value in giving more dungeon content to people and giving more non-instance content to a lot of people? Because that's another thing we have to talk about, which is just a little bit of anecdotal talk about what playing World of Warcraft actually means.
Yeah, what the hell you actually do in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you do in the game? So it's a little bit of how much is a raid and a raid tier actually important to the game. And with the framing that it's a major patch full of content, very, 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 very important. But maybe there's a small chance or a small like directed effort to move away a little bit from that. And to keep it more of because this is their goal, right? Their goal is a consistent pace of content.
Yeah.
And not, here's a big drop. Right, we'll see you in 6 months or 8 months or 9 months or 12 months.
Yeah, they're trying to go more
stuff.
to retention and just predictable, stable subscriber base with healthy growth rather than the older scheme of, wee and then down and then woo and then down.
And
Which, I mean, even thinking about the recent stuff from Warner Bros. Games, them talking about how
Hogwarts Legacy sold 1 billion. Suicide Squad died. Let's make more of those.
Turns out there's more behind that, and you'll find out tomorrow because that's not videos coming out.
Very good. Look at that. You've been onboarded to further content on a different channel. We're good at this upselling.
That's it. Yes. Content weaving. I don't know. I think season 4 season 4 to me, it is happening, but in the context of there being a full-on patch with 10.2.7, with whatever the time running is, whatever stuff happens in that patch, I actually feel decently hopeful there. I think they know 10.2.7 is an important one because it's going to be onboarding people to the new expansion in many ways, right? So I think that'll be strong. It'll be happening during season 4. Don't know. Feel pretty okay about that. I don't think it's the worst in the world. I think it's like the value prop from World of Warcraft for the average player these days is better, even though we get one less raid per expansion. The amount of time that you are subbed for WoW that has nothing going on, I think is quite drastically reduced over what it had been in years gone by, especially in this kind of like second half of the expansion. Although that does mean, that's kind of counting on 10.2.6 and 10.2.7 not being 10.2.5 like mostly disappointments.
Yeah, and I think some of that comes down to like how people engage with World of Warcraft as a value proposition and how people like look at it and think of it when it's like it'll take, a lot of people time to catch up to the fact that they're no longer trying to position this as major patches just and trying to move on a little bit from that. I think so anyway. It's like that's the kind of thing where that's difficult to do because that's just ingrained in your community for so long. But maybe if they can do strong story stuff with Darkheart, then that'll do that. That'll largely do that for them, maybe.